Hello, everyone. Welcome to a live training. My name is Bridget Eileen Cisco. Today we are talking about waves of contraction and expansion. And of course, the garbage truck comes by just as we begin. How perfect. This is an important thing to talk about as an entrepreneur because it's probably something that you faced. It's something that I've experienced many, many times. And when you can begin to observe these waves of energy, you can begin to move through it. And I wanted to start by sharing some of my favorite quotes and mantras. And maybe you have one along these lines too. This too shall pass. The only way out is through. And keep up and you'll be kept up. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Today we're going to talk about a couple things and a couple of examples of what this might feel like for you as an entrepreneur. Maybe you're feeling it right now. We're at a very heightened time astrologically. I'm not an astrologer, but I feel those things too. The importance of this topic, though, is to acknowledge that as a leader, you're human and you have emotions and you feel things. And when we can acknowledge and be present with what is real and true for us in the moment, I think this is going to define a new way of showing up, a new way of leadership in the world. The times that we're living in, right? Maybe you've heard me talk about the age of Aquarius. Maybe you're familiar with that yourself. This is a time where there are no secrets. There's only transparency. There's information everywhere. And people can feel things. And as a leader, there are many times in your life and in your business where you tend to go through these death and rebirth cycles, these contractions where everything feels not very clear and you don't have clarity on what it is to do that you're to do next. Maybe you feel like it's that dark night of the soul. And then there are moments when everything feels effortless and everything is easeful. And the beauty is that you get to feel it all. You get to feel it all. So if you're here live, let me know. And also let me know if this is lagging. I'm seeing some lag. If you're here live, say hi. And I'd love to hear about what this looks like for you in your life too. I'm sure you have many examples of this. Just gonna pull this up on my phone. Hey, Michelle, is there a lag to this? Can you let me know? Okay, beautiful. So when it comes to contraction and expansion, I'm going to give us some examples so that you can see this for yourself. There's a lag. I think I'm going to start the video over. So distracting, right? If there's a lag, because this is a really good topic. Okay, so we're good. This is a topic that most of us have experienced. And for many of us, when we are about to share something new with our community or are about to announce a program or about to even just start, there tends to be this contraction phase where we start to question everything. We say, why did I show up for this? This was dumb. This was a terrible idea. I'm not going to be able to do it. And in Kundalini Yoga, this is called the negative mind. It's the protective mind. And then at some phase in that journey, we feel all that we need to feel, and we start to step into this expansion where maybe things are going well and people are signing up for our programs, and we're in the expansion. But the most important thing for us to remember as entrepreneurs is we are always going through these waves. It does not matter what you see on Instagram of someone's highlight reel. It is always contraction and expansion, contraction and expansion. And when you have the opportunity to go through these emotional waves and you're able to feel things and you're able to grow and retreat and take some time for yourself, clarity can be just on the other side. There's a saying and it goes, it's always darkest before the dawn. It is. There's this massive contraction to then allow the expansion. And a couple other areas that this shows up in, and just let me know if you felt this for yourself too. Say you're about to write a book, and right before you maybe submit your manuscript to the editor, or right before you announce that this is happening. I see this with a lot of the authors in my multi-author book programs. We tend to retreat. We tend to maybe have fear come up. We tend to have judgment and emotions come up, and it's all good. We don't need to judge ourselves for those things. The beauty of those phases is to actually deepen into those phases and allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Allow whatever it is that is coming up for you to be felt so that you can move through it. You can transmute it. And the only way out is through. So then when you spend time feeling, and maybe you have support around this topic too, you're then able to go into a space of, I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to show up for this topic. And the thing is, a lot of this has to do with new patterns and new experiences. We go through these phases of contraction, maybe before you launch something. That's like the best example, where you start to have all the beliefs come in. How am I going to do this? Where are the people going to come from? Are they going to pay for this? And maybe that doubt comes in for a moment. But when we can understand and actually deepen into that experience of feeling the emotions, being in our little cave, we're then able to emerge as the butterfly and expand in new ways. Have you felt this before? And just to give you all a little story, this is what I'm in right now, this very interesting cave. Some people would call it a dark night of the soul, where you're questioning everything, where you're feeling things, or maybe you want to be more introspective and be by yourself. And our society tends to place labels on those things, right? If we're not showing up in this way, if we're not doing an Instagram every day, post every day, if we're not doing an Instagram story every day, then we are less than. But the age of Aquarius requires the leaders to be in full integrity and authenticity with themselves, not what anyone else says that they should be doing or who they should be being. And this is the invitation for us all now. I use this word of discernment a lot because you have to start to ask yourself, what is right for me? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be seen? What is true and right for me? And the magic of this is that no one else can tell you who you should be or what you should be doing or how you should be showing up. You, as a leader, you get to choose. And I believe part of that is having a little bit more transparency in the phases and the cycles. Now, I'm not saying to do an Instagram live when you're in it and, sobbing on the floor, but to be able to reflect and talk about those experiences, because that humanizes us, makes us so human. Oh gosh, I've been through that too. Yeah, when I was about to be on that podcast, yes, I felt like that. And I was talking to a woman yesterday who works with mothers, and she was talking about childbirth. And I'm not a mother yet, but I understand this metaphor. There's literally contractions before birth. And her way of looking at all of this, which is directly related to entrepreneurship, and you can take everything out of this as well, is that those contractions are actually helping the baby move down the birth canal and helping the child be born. And it's the same thing for you and your business. So anytime that you're feeling those contractions in your life, where maybe the doubt comes up, or maybe you're just not sure of the next step, it's okay. Because that is actually the magical moment when something is transforming for you, when something is changing in your life. And the more and more that you sink into that and just allow yourself to feel it all, you're able to come out the other side. There are so many examples of what this could look like. And I think it's something that's not really talked about. But the intention for you today is to start to observe these cycles for yourself. To start to notice, maybe before you announce something to your community, or maybe before you go to raise your prices, you might have this contraction phase. And that's typically because the expansion is a new patterned experience. It's not your comfort zone. It's not familiar. And we are very habitual creatures as humans. So it's just new. It's just different. And I've been experiencing this all week for my next project, which is not just a book anymore. It is a massive visibility project with a PR accelerator, with a co-authored book. And to be in that space is actually beautiful because there's so much magic that happens in the depths and sometimes in the darkness. And we've been conditioned to believe that that's not a good place to be. So here's your reminder, if you're in any of those places right now for yourself, personally, professionally, relationship-wise, that this too shall pass. And what if this icky, dark moment that you're in this very moment is actually a great gift? And it's actually allowing you to expand in ways that you would have never thought possible before. What if? What if? What if? Be gentle with yourself. Enjoy the ride. Watch the waves. Find your center. Do the things that bring you back to your wholeness. Take space away from your business if you need. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments if you are feeling that. This is something that you're experiencing too. And as I mentioned, this next project I'm sharing, that's what I'm feeling. I've never done this before. I've never positioned the program in this way before. And I like being very vulnerable and open about these things because although I see myself as a thought leader and an authority in my space, I am so freaking human. And you probably just never see the other leaders who are feeling this openly. So here's your invitation to feel it, to share it. And if you are at all interested in our next project, we're calling this Victorious Visibility, the book project, to be a co-author of the book Prosperity Codes, which I'll be sharing more about in a couple days. You're more than welcome to apply. Simply comment below and I'll share some information with you in the next couple of days as I'm still moving through all of this for myself, but I just cannot wait because I know that magic comes on the other side of these uncomfortable moments, these uncomfortable phases. I'm with you. I love you. All is well. Have a beautiful day.